Honourable members, we will resume this agenda item, and I call on for the Honourable Attorney General and the Minister for Economy, Civil Service and Communications, the Honourable Aiyaz Khaiyum, to deliver his statement. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to update Parliament on the important work that Wireless is doing with regard to ensuring that wireless services are accessible to all Fijians. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have a steadfast commitment that every Fijian, no matter where they live, are to have meaningful access to wireless services, whether it's crystal clear picture and increased content choices on free-to-air digital television. We've made extraordinary progress with increasing wireless coverage nationwide through terrestrial and satellite network. This is together with the mobile phone connectivity, both voice and data. And I'd like to take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to just correct some of the misinformation that Honourable Gerengere Tambua had referred to. I refer to page 43 of the 2020 GSMA State of Mobile Internet Connectivity Report, which states, and I quote, Fiji has achieved 3G and 4G coverage of more than 95%. Therefore, it is not merely a claim, as the Honourable Member said or made. Ms. Fiji has in fact reached 95% mobile internet connectivity coverage, Mr. Speaker, sir. And again, if the Honourable Member had listened to my statement, she would have grasped this. Because as we all know, Mr. Speaker, sir, that these devices, once they have connectivity, they also have access to data. You get Viber, you get internet, etc. And I think the Honourable Member is confused and does not understand the two distinguishing terms. One is coverage and usage when looking at Digital 2020 by Hootsuite, which she quoted. Hootsuite is a social media management firm, Mr. Speaker, sir, which looks at social media engagement. On the other hand, the GSMA represents the interests of mobile operators worldwide, uniting more than 750 operators with nearly 400 companies in the broader mobile ecosystem, including handset and device makers, software companies, equipment providers, and internet companies. So it gets global data from its members and assesses connectivity coverage and usage across all countries. The difference between the two reports, Mr. Speaker, says that Hootsuite did not state the 95% mobile internet connectivity coverage. It only stated the internet usage. And Honourable Gerengere Tambua very conveniently used that. The fact is, most people, a lot of people in Fiji who may have access to a mobile phone don't necessarily use it for Facebook or don't necessarily use it for internet. They only use it for voice. So therefore, they won't get quoted or caught in the report that she was quoting. Mr. Speaker, sir, the other point that I also wanted to make, just to fact check her, she said that VT card, people don't need necessarily VT card, but they need internet connectivity. To use VT card, you actually need internet connectivity. So she does not know what she's talking about, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, she also said that we don't allow for competition. There's only 2 mobile phone companies. We had stated in the statement on Monday, the Honourable Prime Minister had said, let's deregulate the mobile telephony company market in Fiji. We deregulated it. Companies had 20-year exclusive licenses. That's how Digicel came in. She thinks that for a country of less than 900,000 people, all the mobile phone companies in the world want to come to Fiji. They don't. They look at the population numbers. They look at how much investment they have to make. To put up a tower, I said it costs $500,000 just one tower. So again, it shows a huge lack of understanding and commercial understanding of how the internet space works, how mobile phone companies work, and indeed the commercial understanding that's required to be able to even comment on it in a very rudimentary manner. She said, oh, where are the bus stand? There's no Wi-Fi at Suva bus stand. I will read out a list. We never said Wi-Fi will be at Suva bus stand. He said Sukuna Park and My Suva Park, and I'll read out a list of where all it is. She then assumed, said, oh, this 158 number must have gone to Vodafone. Again, a major goof up. See, this is the problem when people come to this parliament with derisive attitude, pugnacious attitude, they get the facts wrong. 158 is not with Vodafone. It's with a company called Pacific Centrecom, or Centrecom Fiji Pty Limited was engaged for this. So again, she's wrong, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, she went on to say, oh, the e-ticketing, we understand, the question is it $3? Well, it's not. If she checked, this is kind of speculation. Pensioners get $10 a month. If they use $7, they always have $10 at the beginning of the month. If they use $7 in the month, the following month it will be topped up by another $7 to make sure they have $10 in the beginning of the month. Mr. Speaker, sir, again, she referred to the World Bank $3.5 million. Again, she failed to tell Parliament, or probably does not understand, that actually it was a loan. It's a World Bank loan for connecting of Vanua level to Viti level as part of what they call the Tui Samoa connection. And because we utilize the funds in a very properly managed, transparent manner, there were some leftover funds that the World Bank then said you could use for a Northern Connectivity Project, which is precisely what we are doing. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to very quickly talk about digital television. In December 2017, the digital television platform through Wailesi was launched with 10 transmission sites across Fiji. To date, Wailesi, through budgetary allocation of a number of budgets, has invested a capex of about $45 million in over 21 sites. Furthermore, in adopting the infrastructure sharing or co-location model, Wailesi now operates 21 transmission sites, including 3 terrestrial sites on Kandavu, Ovalau, Taviuni, 15 sites on Viti Levu, and 3 in Vanua Levu. I very quickly want to highlight, Mr. Speaker, and honourable members need to understand this. We have ITC container, which is used as a linking site in Wailesi. It's owned by Wailesi, co-located with Digicel. Nakomba Levu, which covers Suva Central, Nasinu, Nosori, Tailevu, Navua, Korovo. FBC is transferring their site to Wailesi exclusively. Monosavu Dam and nearby areas. Fintel, co-locating with Wailesi. Koro'o, Tavua, Vatukola. Wailesi has got their own site. Lololo, parts of Lotoka and Ba, FBC is transferring the site to Wailesi. Sambeto, which covers Nandi Lotoka. Kavukavu in Nambo, Lomawai area, Digicel co-locating with Wailesi. Gunusuna Tange, Singatoga town and suburbs, Wailesi site. Budhona Bay, Singatoga coastal area, Vodafone with Wailesi. Dongowale, parts of Navua, Matunipusi Hill, Serua, Digicel with Wailesi. Town of Vo, Pacific Harbour, Vodafone with Wailesi. Nayala, Wainimbuka area, Digicel with Wailesi. Matawai Levu, Boroto, Maduveni, Wailesi with Vodafone. Rakiraki town, nearby areas, FBC with Wailesi. Tunreki, Tavu and Rekireki, Digicel with Wailesi. Dalaikoro, Senganga, Lambasa and coastal areas further north, FBC transferring to Wailesi. Ulivua, Nambowalu and surrounding areas, TFL with Wailesi. Navaria, Savusavu town and nearby areas, Digicel with Wailesi. Davao Peak, Tavuki, Loveni Vonu, Somosomo, Lamina, and parts of Welenga, TFL with Wailesi. Korosalusalu, Kandavu, Vunise and surrounding areas, Vodafone with Wailesi. And Levuka Ovalau, Wailesi has got its own site. Mr. Speaker, digital television offers a myriad of benefits for both the broadcasters and all Fijians. These benefits include the following. A common platform for all broadcasters. B, spectrum efficiency gains and increased transmission capacity that more data can be transmitted per unit bandwidth. C, improved signal quality and robustness. D, low energy consumption and maintenance costs. We have to be mindful of energy costs. E, flexibility and more efficient use of infrastructure allows implementation of single frequency networks, or SFNS, instead of independent parallel analog networks. SMNS is a broadcast network where several transmitters simultaneously send the same signal over the same frequency channel. What are the consumer benefits, Mr. Speaker, sir? Wider choice of programming and services, including additional channels, HD offerings and pay programs. Better quality in that it is less likely to experience signal interference and picture quality issues. C, convenience in that video on demand catch-up service allows viewers to watch programs at a time of their choosing. And D, parental lock setting, where parents can actually lock programs. It gives parents and guardians a greater control of what their children watch on television via classification programs or full channels. If you're not home, you know they're not going to watch anything that they should not be watching. With the advancement of digital broadcast technology, Wailesi's broadcast signals are far more reaching than the traditional analog signals. For that reason, Mr. Speaker, sir, a number of maritime islands are now able to receive digital television signals from Wireless's 21 transmission sites. These include Benga, 85% is covered. Vatulele, 100%. Yasawa Group, 80%. Kandavu, 15%. I'll come to Kandavu later. Overlau, 80%. Lomai Viti Group, 60%. Rambi, 85%. Kiowa, 50%. Kia, 50%. Mali, 50%. Yangana, 30%. Wireless has also made good progress in deploying what we call additional fill-in transmission sites. Muaani in Kandavu, 50% completed. Nayala, which is digital site. Budona Bay, Rotuma, Lakemba, Levuka, Tonovo. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'd like to point out that while Kandavu already has an infield site at Bunisea, Wireless is actually deploying another site at Muaani, which will ensure 100% digital terrestrial coverage to Kandavu. Works are temporarily halted due to COVID-19 travel restrictions. However, works will resume as soon as travel restrictions are relaxed. Similarly, works at Mount Kugai site in Rotuma and on Lakemba in the Lau Group will also resume as soon as the travel restrictions are relaxed. Mr. Speaker, sir, where the 21 terrestrial transmission networks were not suitable, particularly in the deep interiors of Viti Levu and Vanuatu and in the remote maritime islands, we have used satellite technology. The wireless satellite-based direct-to-home service provides 100% coverage. This means that the wireless digital television platform is available to every island in Fiji. Wireless now has 3,738 satellite-based direct-to-home connections in the maritime islands, including far-flung islands such as Rotuma with 57 connections, Lau Group with 143 connections, and Lomai Viti with 1,487 connections, to name a few. Mr. Speaker, sir, with the current work that has been undertaken in expanding coverage to the maritime islands, a student, for example, attending school at the Mavana District School in Lau, can access the same high quality and dedicated educational content on the Wireless platform as a student in Tailevu at QVS. Mr. Speaker, sir, Wireless has also carried out nationwide roadshows. For example, Wireless carried out 2 roadshows in Rotuma, one from 17 October 2020 for 2 weeks, connecting 18 households, and another one from 24 November 2020 for 3 weeks, connecting 20 households with direct-to-home satellite connections. The team also connected 5 community halls in Rotuma, and these are Losa Village, Itai Utu Village, Hapmak Village Hall. These are all in the village halls. Nortau Village Hall, Lopta Village Hall. And the other roadshows, Mr. Speaker, sir, were in Natalei Ira Village in Tailevu, Naivoroti in Naitasiri, Dhuvu, Nandi Roadshow, Nassau Vakarua in Monasavu, Urata Roadshow, which included the area around Montfort Boys Town, Daku in Lambasa, I'm not going to read out all of them, Tavyuni Roadshow, Nandawa Roadshow, Nandera, Visese, Ovalau Roadshow. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'd like to point out at the time of the recent COVID-19 outbreak, Wirelessly, through its digital television platform, rapidly deployed supplementary educational content from 20 April 2021. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'd like to also now highlight or outline the type of the digital television coverage that is applicable to the maritime islands, digital terrestrial television, and the direct-to-home satellite-based digital television. Mr. Speaker, sir, just to give you a quick update on it, in Tavyuni, for example, we have 1,296 digital terrestrial television. And direct-to-home, in other words, satellites, dishes in individual homes or halls, we have 63. Kiowa, 5 DTT. Kandavu, 225 DTT and 186 satellite connections. Rotuma, 57 satellite connections. Ovalau, 1,115 DTT and 295 satellite connections. Koro, 26 DTT, 5 satellite connections. Ngau, 15 DTT, 21 satellite. Motoriki, 2 DTT, 8 satellite. Lakemba, 30 satellite. Oneilau, 10 satellite. Mode, 17 satellite. Kambara, 12 satellite. Vivia, 8 satellite. Nayau, 12 satellite. Totoya, 11 satellite. Matuku, 6 satellite. Namukuilau, 4 satellite. Ono, 5. Moala, 21. Wanumbalavu, 7. In Vatulele, on Vatulele Island, we have 3 DTT and 1 satellite. In Viwa, in Tailevu, 2 DTT. In Yasawa Islands, 263 DTT and 7 satellite. Mr. Speaker, as part of government's initiative, Walesi will continue to provide free set-top boxes to every household that has a combined annual income of up to $30,000 in UHF antennas at a subsidized cost. To date, Walesi has distributed 143,401 digital terrestrial television set-top boxes and 3,738 digital satellite receivers. Mr. Speaker, sir, of course, upon proof of that, you'll be able to access these set-top boxes. Mr. Speaker, sir, we're also cognizant that there are limitations in terms of access to grid power and affordability in some communities. Therefore, government has funded the facilitation of a TV set and wireless equipment in community halls, government centers and schools in 711 communities, which provide 127,980 Fijians with equitable access to information. Mr. Speaker, sir, many countries in America, Europe and parts of Asia have completed the digital television migration progress. A growing concern is that countries that are still on analog technology will eventually find difficulty in buying television receivers as the technology becomes obsolete. Looking ahead, Mr. Speaker, sir, Walesi is now focused on ensuring that all eligible households have the prospect to obtain the wireless equipment. This is to prepare for the analog to digital television switchover, which will progressively be carried out nationwide beginning from Navua, Korovo, and Lautoka Nandi corridors by 1st of December of this year. The next phases will be the remaining areas across Vitilevu, Vanuatu, and the Maritime Islands. Mr. Speaker, sir, the analog switchover date means that all broadcasters will cease to transmit on the analog platform. It will regularize current practice and mandate that all television broadcasters, free-to-air and pay-per-view, become tenants of the Walesi platform, and Walesi will offer all tenants through the Walesi platform equitable access and geographical reach. This also means that all the infrastructure costs of the transmission will now be borne by Walesi. In other words, television companies no longer have to invest in expensive infrastructure, upfront infrastructure costs. Walesi will do that because our objective to ensure every Fijian gets connectivity. The staggered approach of the switchover is to also ensure that all broadcasters have sufficient time to transition from the analog to digital television platform, and the administrative measures have also been put in place. Mr. Speaker, sir, we intend to complete the national digital switchover exercise by June 2022. Mr. Speaker, sir, the launch of the Walesi mobile app in 2018 further empowers Fijians to watch live and on-demand television channels, including the dedicated educational content and indeed these parliamentary proceedings right on their fingertips. This service has become tremendously popular amongst viewers in Fiji and abroad. Mr. Speaker, sir, during the recent 2020 Olympic Games that ended on 8 August 2021, we were informed that there was an uptake of 100,000 new subscribers to the Walesi app, making a total of 600,000 individual subscribers to the Walesi app. Mr. Speaker, sir, Walesi is committed to ensuring excellent service delivery and is consistently elevating the Walesi app on both the Play Store and Apple App Store. Walesi had also upgraded their over-the-top, or what we call OTT servers, to cater for increased demand and to improve user experience and resilience. This also pays or provides for pay-per-view live events such as Uprising Sevens, Triple Zone, Super Zone, South Pacific Boxing Promotion, the Maris Sevens, Fair Brother Rugby, Diwali, Dhoom Dhanya, and Skipper Cup. Mr. Speaker, sir, talking about upgrades, very soon Walesi app users will also be able to access radio services on the Walesi app, which we expect to complete by November of this year. Mr. Speaker, sir, to date Walesi has 610,083 registered users on its platform. With Sky Pacific coming on board with the Walesi app, Walesi will soon be able to offer users access to more channels. Mr. Speaker, sir, Walesi has established 16 free Wi-Fi hotspots across the country that provides 1 hour of free internet access daily. These sites are, as I mentioned, in Suva, Ratu Sukuna Park, in Suva, Maisuva Park, Savu Savu foreshore area and the market area, Singatoga Riverside and the market area, Nandi, Koreivolu Park and the bus stand area, Lautoka, Shirley Park, Lautoka bus stand and market, Bar bus stand and market, Lambasa Civic Center, Market and Bus Stand. Nosori is Syria Park. Navua Bus Stand and Market. Tavua Bus Stand and Market. Rakiraki Bus Stand and Market. Lame is Tikaram Park. Valalevu is Rajendra Grounds and Market. And Korovo is the market and the bus stand. Mr. Speaker, sir, this Wi-Fi hotspot initiative is also available to the 26 Fiji National University campuses, which can be utilized by both the students and the teachers. Mr. Speaker, sir, Walesi has increased accessibility to high-speed internet services to rural and maritime areas through its VSAT satellite program, and areas that are currently covered are Rotuma Government Center in Rotuma, Benga Yanuda Secondary School in Benga, and Noikoro District School in the interior of Nanaga Navosa. More areas are also being identified by Walesi team in consultations with the various ministries. Mr. Speaker, sir, as we all know, radio is the most readily and easily available form of communications. In fact, radio is the most accessible form of communications during times of disaster and crisis. I'll be just a few minutes, sir. While out at sea or while traveling across islands, most of us are switched on to the radio channels for entertainment and access to critical information. Mr. Speaker, sir, with a budgetary allocation of $4.5 million in the 2021-2022 national budget, Walesi is well placed for the deployment of FM radio network. The $4.5 million allocation to Walesi will fund the construction of 4 key transmission sites. The initial 2 sites is Nakumbolevu in Suva, Sambetu in Nandi. They are expected to be commissioned by November of this year. The remaining sites, Koro in Tavua and Delai Koro in Lambasa, are scheduled to be completed by March of next year. The deployment of new FM radio transmission sites will result in much improved and deeper coverage. This is due to the advanced technologies and higher transmission power gear that will be deployed by Walesi. The brownout or blackout zones that are currently experienced while traveling in areas such as Pacific Harbour and Coral Coast and Vitilevu, or areas like Bua and Savusavu and Vanulevu, will be a thing of the past. Mr. Speaker, sir, the new FM network will also use what we call Single Frequency Network, or SFN. This is also being used for the Walesi digital television platform. What SFN means, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the FM network is that you will be able to listen to your favorite radio station in the same frequency anywhere in Fiji. There's no need to change stations while traveling across the islands, and listeners will continue to receive the same quality signal for the whole journey. Last but not least, Mr. Speaker, sir, the SFN technology will also free up the much needed radio frequencies, which is what I've called the other day limited real estate, for other purposes such as telecommunication networks. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is more efficient use of technology and resources. By building a common shared network, we'll give other smaller broadcasters, such as community and faith-based radio stations, the same competitive advantage as other commercial radio stations. As we've seen, for example, some of the faith-based organizations that are currently in Walesi, we could allow more of them to come in through this platform. Therefore, the intention is for Walesi services to expand to look after all broadcasting transmission, television and FM services. Another advantage of such a consolidation, Mr. Speaker, sir, will provide economies of scale and ensure all national linking and transmission sites are well serviced by utilities and connectivity. This will also mean that all broadcasters will not only enjoy enhanced reach and better technical support, in other words, getting more exposure to members of the public, but also reduce the high operating costs, especially in terms of maintaining sites that had poor or no utility service and connectivity. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, sir, Walesi has without a doubt revolutionized television in Fiji, because our citizens are already experiencing the benefits of crystal clear picture quality with more programming options. Our children are already accessing the educational content both on digital television platform and Walesi app, while in the safety of their homes. With the deployment of initiatives like the FM network and the Wi-Fi hotspots, this will further ensure that investments in Walesi will provide much better returns to all Fijians, Mr. Speaker, sir. And therefore, it will achieve government's objective that every Fijian, regardless of where they are, who they are, how much they earn, whatever their socioeconomic status is, will have a meaningful access to Walesi services and information in itself. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I thank the Honourable Attorney General, and I now give the floor to the designated Speaker of the Leader of the Opposition,